back here at Hollywood Smoke in Santa Monica for another edition of 10 Count. I'm Steve Kim, joined by the double mics, Montero and Baca. Gentlemen, July 30th on Showtime from the Barclays Center. Big featherweight battle. Leo Santa Cruz takes on Carl Frampton. Mike, I'll go to you first. Based on what you saw in the Scott Quigg fight, do you think Frampton at 126 can handle the overall pressure of Santa Cruz?
I don't. I think Santa Cruz is going to destroy Frampton.
Destroy?
Yeah, I think so.
Destroy.
I think he's tailor-made for Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz is a volume guy, and he's got length at 126. Frampton coming up, he's a short guy.
Yeah.
Not a lot of length there. And the Quigg fight was a stinker. It was one to forget. And quite frankly, I can't even recall what happened in the fight because not much did. I mean,
tell us how you really feel.
Wow, here's that limb, you're on it. Two things concern me for Carl Frampton physically about this fight. I go back to the Alejandro Cobrita Gonzalez Jr. fight, who's built similarly to Santa Cruz, able to shoot down right hands. And one thing about Santa Cruz that I've always admired, whether you like it or not, unlike Scott Quigg, he's not going to wait 7 rounds to put his punches on layaway.
Yeah, he's going to get started right away. The one thing that will be interesting for me is I think Frampton is the overall better athlete of the two fighters, and he has much quicker feet. He has better footwork, and I think he might be able to get in and get out early on. For Santa Cruz, he's got to cut off the ring, and I think that it might take a few rounds for him to catch up. But maybe you're right. Maybe he'll just mow him down. But I think it'll be interesting to see if Leo can cut off the ring and get to Frampton and get him early. You mentioned that that first fight. I think that was Frampton's first fight in America.
Yes, it was.
So this is his
Irish
return.
hotbed of El Paso.
I was just going to say, you know, this fight, I don't know if it makes a lot of sense in New York. I guess there's more Irish people in New York than there are in El Paso. But for Santa Cruz, it'll be interesting to see how his brand travels over to New York.
Just remember one thing. This is America. There are Mexicans everywhere. I think there'll be a decent crowd. I've always thought maybe this fight fit better in on the West Coast. Again, it's at Barclays Center. That's their call. But keep this in mind, guys. Just looking at the geography. They're both with Al Heyman, but Leo Santa Cruz, I think, is higher on the totem pole. So if this fight becomes a boxing match and Frampton's going to move a lot, there's going to be a lot of close rounds early on, I think. And again, I'd have to think psychologically, the judges say, who's the house fighter here? In my opinion, in this particular circumstance, that is Santa Cruz.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to that Cobrita fight, wasn't Frampton knocked down twice?
Twice in the first round.
Yeah. I mean, that obviously goes into play into my opinion about what's going to happen in this fight. And another little facet is Santa Cruz's father was recently diagnosed with cancer and going through chemo, but he's still, you know, helping with the training. And I actually talked to Santa Cruz's brother Antonio last week at a media workout, and according to him, Jose, his father, is doing great and will be traveling to New York for the fight. So that's a good sign. And I think with that in mind, Santa Cruz is going to be extremely inspired in this fight. And that's really why I think he's going to blow out Frampton. Not only stylistically, I think he's kind of tailor-made for him.
And Mike, another big thing. One thing, I never understood how Leo made 122 for so long. This is a big kid.
Yes.
I think 26, he's grown into being a featherweight right away. I think that suits him to a T.
Yeah, and he was one of those guys that you see move up in weight, and they take more power up with him because he was killing himself to make that weight. So I think he's going to be more of a power puncher at 126, especially when he really sits down and digs to the body, which he likes to do. So I think, you know, I would envision a knockout. I just don't know if it'll happen early. I'd be very, very impressed if Santa Cruz could get Frampton out early, just because he is a seasoned professional who knows how to survive.
And even at his best, Santa Cruz chips away at guys.
Right.
He's more of a kind of a grinder. He's not a guy that's going to saw right through you. I expect this fight to go rounds, but I'm with you. I don't know if I'd go destroy, but I think Santa Cruz is the strong favorite. I get the sense he's going to win this fight fairly handily. Also on this undercard, it's the long-awaited return, sort of Mikey Garcia was announced over this weekend against Elio Rojas. Guys, just let's be blunt. Do you guys give a damn right now?
I was just going to say, who?
Yeah.
Mikey who? Look, out of sight, out of mind. We reamed Andre Ward about this for years. You know, and you guys out there, you Montero haters, you know, get on me.
The legions.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh my God.
I'm just keeping it real with Andre Ward, right? Got to do the same thing with Mikey Garcia here. He hasn't fought. He makes Andre Ward look active. So at this point, what have
Whoa.
you done for me lately? I know. I don't care. Sorry.
I do care, for the simple fact that when we did see Mikey Garcia in the ring, he's an obvious talent. He beat Orlando Salido up. I mean, you got to take that into account. We'll see how long, how the layoff treats him. I think it'll be just fine. Who's the guy he's facing?
Elio Rojas.
Again,
they're tipping the big toe into the water. They're not diving in. Two things. I want to see what weight class this is going to be, because I don't know if Mikey's really a legitimate lightweight. I certainly don't think he's coming back at 140 for the long term. Here's what I think about Mikey Garcia. He's an absolute surgeon. I thought he could be the modern-day Marquez, a guy that just slices and dices you up, but he's very calculating. The other thing is I've always found interesting about Mike, and I give him credit for honesty. He says, I don't love boxing. This is a job. So my question is, especially being a Mexican fighter and how passionate the fan base is, does that sell in East LA, a guy that says boxing is just a job to me?
I don't know, Steve. You know, he almost reminds me of some of the Cuban fighters that come out of the amateurs, guys like Rigando, guys who really, you could tell, are just fighting for the money. And he's very, very good at it, don't get me wrong. But boxing's different than other sports. If you don't have your heart in it 100%, getting to that elite level and staying there and then entertaining the fans at the same time, that's a hard combination. So I don't know.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. But again, Michael Baca, Santa Cruz will quote-unquote destroy Frampton.
Yes.
You're not changing.
I'm on the record. I'm not changing that.
I got TKO 10.
You know what? I've got a late stoppage or points victory. But again, destroy, the words of Michael Baca. All right, well, that's it for this edition of 10 Count. On behalf of Mr. Baca and Michael Montero, this is Steve Kim saying goodbye, everybody.